Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the i3Net interview series. Today, I have a really fantastic interview lined up for you with Jenny Hirst of Apprenticeship Careers Australia. Jenny, let's get straight into it. Would you be able to start off by introducing yourself and telling us all about Apprenticeship Careers Australia?
Sure, thanks, Bianca. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Hirst. I'm the GTO Manager for Apprenticeship Careers Australia. I look after the Illawarra, South Sydney, South Coast and the Southern Highlands. And what we do at Apprenticeship Careers Australia is we actually provide businesses with a time-saving, cost-effective and risk-free solution for hiring apprentices and trainees. Apprenticeship Careers Australia is a group training organisation of Business Australia. And since we started in 2011, we've actually recruited for host employers over 3,500 apprentices and trainees. The Illawarra office has only been operating for just over 3 years. And yeah, we're really growing and expanding our reach in lots of areas. So we're very happy with that. We match the best candidates with great businesses. So our focus is on ensuring apprentices and trainees are working for and with the best employers, with the highest standard of excellence, which enables our apprentices and trainees to get quality training on the job by these employers.
Awesome, thank you. Sorry, I don't know if I was going to cut you off then.
Sorry.
That's a really fantastic introduction. And Jenny, I think maybe I didn't mention at the start, but Apprenticeship Careers Australia is actually part of i3Net. You guys are wonderful valued partners with us and we really appreciate your support. My next question is, why would businesses, but in particular the i3Net member businesses, use Apprenticeship Careers Australia?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, Bianca, we are members of i3Net, and since joining i3Net, we've actually have some clients of ours that are i3Net members, which we're very grateful for. And, really, really great companies we're working with that we're very excited for our apprentices and trainees to be within these organisations because we know the level of training that they will get on the job in that workplace. But we also offer a comprehensive recruitment process. So that could include psychometric testing and job fit testing. It's really more suited for the school leavers. We do this testing to make sure that they would be able to actually work full time and also manage their study for their apprenticeship or traineeship. So we sort of go the extra mile with that, doing a couple of extra testing for mainly school leavers. And then once we send the best, we get the culling and we send the best candidates to the host employer, they actually make the decision, not us, whether they would like to employ an apprentice or a trainee through us and to be hosted out. And we also look after the apprentice or the trainee right through the qualification. So we don't just leave them once they're in that host workplace. We have communication with them at least every fortnight, and also with the host employer, because we really want a successful outcome for all parties.
Yeah, I really like that, Jenny. I think it's such a point of difference how much care you put into the front end, and while people are working in the businesses, and you obviously care about the apprentice and the company. So I think that's certainly a point of difference and something that I've certainly seen by engaging with you. My next question, Jenny, talks about what is there a limit on the type of industries that you can provide apprenticeships and trainees for, or is it broad ranging?
Look, any apprenticeship or traineeship, as long as it's a nationally recognised qualification, we can help the host employer find their suitable person. So we look after all the red tape. So we look after the superannuation, the payroll. We ensure that they're paid at the right award. And, when the award increases, we ensure that, we're on top of that. So there's no issues, towards the end of the qualification. And, if anybody was to be looking at an apprentice or trainee, at the moment, there's a 50% rebate on an apprentice or trainee wages for the first year. So if you were to take on an apprentice and pay them $20 an hour, for the first year of their apprenticeship, you'd actually be rebated $10 an hour for that first year. So it's a really, really great incentive by the government, and that's up until 31st of March for anyone that takes on an apprentice or a trainee, 50% rebate on their gross wages.
That's it. That's an incredible saving and such a good incentive. Thank you for sharing that. I know you mentioned before you were speaking about school leavers, and I suppose people often think about apprenticeships or trainees as school leavers. Is that the only age group, or is there more age groups?
Yeah, no, look, an apprentice or trainee can be any age. You know, people really do think of apprentices and trainees, you know, school leavers. Mature aged apprentices and trainees, you know, can bring a lot to the table. You know, they know their commitment. You know, some people have had their families and ready to go to work again, and, you know, they have their car and they have their license and everything like that. So there's definitely no age limit to an apprentice or a trainee. It's just their commitment to the job role and the study component. We've got trainees and apprentices in, you know, plumbing, electrical, finance, legal, admin, civil construction. So, you know, engineering, drafting, anything like that. As long as it's a nationally recognised qualification, it's open to all ages.
Yeah, very interesting. And one question as well that I wanted to ask you is, what in terms of Apprenticeship Careers Australia, what makes you stand apart or stand out from other providers in this space?
Well, it's really our commitment to our clients, you know, whether it be the host employer or the trainee or apprentice. We just make sure that we really try to get the right fit for that employer, but also, you know, we want to make sure it's successful, that, you know, the apprentice or the trainee gets through to the end of their qualification, and that hopefully the host employer will then retain them and employ them on their books direct. Yeah, that's a really great outcome for us. We don't just place somebody in the workplace and leave them. There's additional support also if they're struggling with their studies. We can get further mentoring and support. It's all part of our commitment to the host employer and the apprentice or trainee. We don't want anyone to fail. And what we do say is, you know, if you're asked for help, you're not going to fail. We will get you through. We will help and do whatever we can to make sure you can get to that, you know, level of qualification.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it's yeah, just saying to people, ask for help, and then you'll get the help, you know, then you've got that support there. And I think, you know, you're such a caring person, to have such wonderful attention to detail, that I think that really shines through in the work that Apprenticeship Careers Australia does. Thanks, Jenny. My other question was about costs. You mentioned before about the really great incentive at the moment in terms of that 50% saving for the first year. But what are the costs if somebody is looking at using your services to bring on an apprentice?
Yeah, sure. So there's no placement fee once we find the correct person, you know, the right person for that job role. So all the advertising, the interviewing, culling, testing, all of that is free for the host employer. We are a business. We do have to cover our costs. So there is additional costs on top of their wage each week. But that does cover all the pay, superannuation, workers' comp, everything. And it's very competitive. You know, we're happy to, you know, discuss that further. But yeah, there's no upfront costs at all.
Wow, that's such a great model and such a great saving for the business for you doing all of that work. That's amazing. Jenny, that was actually the list of all my questions. We ran through that super quickly. If people have one more question. If people do want to find out more from you, what's the best way that you would recommend for people to do that?
Yeah, sure. But you can have a look on our webpage. Apprenticeship Careers Australia. You can contact us through that. We're part of the Business Chamber or Business Australia here in Wollongong, so we're local in Regent Street with the Chamber. Or, you know, you can just, you know, as we said earlier, we're part of i3net, so the contact details will be there on the member directory.
Yes.
Or, you know, just call us. We'll be happy to get back to you and, you know, catch up with you.
Amazing.
I also just wanted to add, if there's anybody there that has a young person or anybody looking for an apprenticeship or traineeship, we're happy to take CVs. We've got a few positions coming up. very soon in electrical and engineering, administration. So, you know, it gets to the busy time of the year now where employers are looking at next year. So happy to, you know, there could be people that have got some, you know, school leavers or, you know, just anyone that's looking for an apprenticeship or traineeship. We're happy to take some CVs and in preparation for, you know, when these vacancies all come through, you know, just to get a kickstart on that. We're happy to also give some feedback on CVs and interview skills. I think that's really important. You know, some CVs, you know, when you look at Seek, you just don't even, you know, consider that person. Just a lot of tips that we can give people there. So happy for anyone to reach out and have that discussion as well.
Well, that's an incredible offer. Thanks, Jenny. Was there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. Just, you know, don't wait. If you're looking at or planning on taking somebody on, whether it be towards the end of this year or next year, get in touch. You know, let's have a chat, have a discussion, and, you know, be prepared. You will organise the TAFE or the registered training organisation, whoever that may be. We've got recommendations for different qualifications and, you know, RTOs that we think are, you know, the better suited. But yeah, other than that, you know, just keep us in mind if you're ever considering an apprentice or trainee.
Fantastic. Well, Jenny, thank you so much for your time today. It's always so lovely to chat with you. I really appreciate how much you're an active part of the network, and it's been wonderful for you to share some of your time with us this morning. So thanks so much, Jenny.
Great. Thanks, Bianca. Bye.
Bye.